How's it going, everyone? I am Count Jinsula, and welcome to another Pokemon GO deep dive video. Okay, we need to take a close look at two Pokemon that will be the highlight of this weekend's Hoenn Tour Event. I'm of course talking about Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon. Once these two Pokemon get released, they are going to change the entire landscape of Pokemon GO. I'm going to be explaining why in this video, so let's roll the intro and get right into it. In case you weren't aware, the Hoenn Tour Event is happening this weekend in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is looking to be a phenomenal event and will feature some of the most powerful Pokemon in the game. However, two Pokemon that will be featured this weekend that have gotten all of the Pokemon GO community excited are Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon. These two Pokemon are powered up forms of the legendary Pokemon Kyogre and Groudon and will not be separate encounters. Thank goodness for that, because both of them are insanely powerful. You'll be able to get either Primal Kyogre or Primal Groudon through a process called Primal Reversion. This process is going to be very similar to Mega Evolutions, where you will need to collect Primal Energy from Primal Raids, and use that energy to Primal Revert your Kyogre or Groudon. Once you do, these Pokemon are going to be insanely good. Both Kyogre and Groudon were already good before Primal Reversion, but they get a significant attack and defense boost once they go into their primal forms. In order to understand this, let's go over each of them in detail. Let's start with Primal Kyogre. This Pokemon doesn't gain or lose any types when it Primal Reverts. It is a pure Water type, which gives it a weakness to Electric type and Grass type attacks. It also takes reduced damage from Fire, Ice, Steel, and Water type attacks. Primal Kyogre is also going to get weather boosted by rainy weather. The base stats of Primal Kyogre are absolutely insane, even by the standards of most Mega Evolutions. It gets a base attack stat of 331, a base defense stat of 251, and a base stamina stat of 205. Its regular form has a base attack stat of 270 and a base defense of 228. It gets a boost of 61 attack and 19 defense, which is massive. What makes Primal Kyogre so incredibly powerful is that super high attack stat combined with a really stellar moveset. Kyogre only has one fast attack available to it, which is Waterfall. This fast attack is actually pretty strong, in that it deals a high amount of damage, but also generates a hefty amount of energy. Think of it as a water type version of Confusion. It's really good. Now in terms of Kyogre's charge attacks, we have plenty of good options. As of this weekend's Hoenn Tour Event, Kyogre is going to be getting its signature move, Origin Pulse. This is looking to be Kyogre's best charge attack by far, as it will deal the most damage per second. Kyogre also has Thunder, Blizzard, Hydro Pump, and Surf in its arsenal. If you don't want to use an Elite Charge TM in order to get Origin Pulse on your best Kyogre, Hydro Pump is a great second option. For your secondary charge attack, it will depend on what you're using Kyogre for. If raid battles are your thing, you can save the Candy and Stardust because a second charge attack won't be necessary. If you're engaged in PvP, Thunder will probably be your best bet. It provides Kyogre some much needed type coverage, and it also can throw off your opponents who think you are running all water type damage. Overall, Kyogre sees a sizable improvement with its primal form and Origin Pulse. Once you Primal Revert Kyogre, and if you teach it Origin Pulse, it will be by far the #1 water type raid attacker. It will trivialize a lot of raids that are weak against water types. Once you are able to collect the primal energy, you should try to stock up as much as possible. Next, let's get into Groudon. So, I totally messed up the first upload of this video, and I neglected to mention that Groudon actually gains the fire typing once you Primal Revert it. So, yeah, that's the one little tidbit. I will fix the infographic, but the audio may not mention it, so just letting you know. This Pokemon, like Kyogre, is going to be getting its primal form as well as its signature move. I would make the argument that it has a much larger improvement over Kyogre. Groudon is going to be weather boosted by clear or sunny weather, which is quite common everywhere in the world. It also has the same exact base stats of Primal Kyogre. It has an attack stat of 331, a defense stat of 251, and a stamina stat of 205. Now, I would say that Primal Groudon is much stronger than Primal Kyogre, and the big reason for that is of course its moveset. While Primal Kyogre only has one fast attack, Groudon has two. However, only one of them is a clear favorite. Groudon can have either Mud Shot or Dragon Tail as its fast attack. Without question, Mud Shot is the way to go. Not only does it benefit from a same type attack bonus, but it generates an insane amount of energy, much faster than what Waterfall does for Kyogre. I mentioned that Groudon is going to get its signature move during the Hoenn Tour Event. Well, this is definitely a move you need to get on your best Groudon that you plan to Primal Revert. This signature move is the Charge Attack Precipice Blades. It is an incredibly strong ground type attack, and it holds no rivals in that regard. Groudon also comes with Earthquake, which like Hydro Pump, can be a great second option if you don't want to use those elite charge TMs. Now in terms of Groudon's other charge attacks, it could come with Fire Punch, Solar Beam, and Fire Blast. None of these attacks benefit from a same type attack bonus, so they are primarily there for type coverage in PvP. The best of these will be Fire Punch, which is a legacy move that will require an elite charge TM. If you plan to use Groudon in the Go Battle League, then it will definitely be worth using two elite charge TMs in order to get both Precipice Blades and Fire Punch. You'll be unstoppable at that point. Groudon is currently ranked number 1 in the Open Master League meta. This is because of its incredible bulk and access to some insanely good moves. If you struggle during the Master League portion of a Go Battle League season, then Groudon might be a great investment. If they ever open up its primal form into PvP, then that is going to be your absolute best Pokemon to use. But if you plan to use Primal Groudon or even regular Groudon in raids or gym battles, then you should focus more on getting Mud Shot and Precipice Blades. A Primal Groudon with these moves will make it the undisputed number 1 ground type raid attacker. Like Kyogre, there's no need to unlock that second charge attack if your sole focus is raids. Although, it might be worth doing because then you can use Groudon for both raids and PvP. Overall, these primal forms are insanely good, and will significantly improve both of these Pokemon. They quickly become the absolute best of their type, so long as you run their signature moves. Therefore, if you are able to collect primal energy for either of them, I suggest you prioritize that the most. I'm seriously excited and looking forward to this weekend. Once both of these primal Pokemon get released, it is going to change the landscape of this game. Certain raid bosses will be easy, and the Master League is just going to be filled with either of these Pokemon. But in any case, that's going to be it for this video. Leave your thoughts regarding Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon down below. Let me know if you have a hundo of either of them, and let's have a great discussion. And if you ended up enjoying this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support my channel in any way, big or small, then be sure to check out the links in the description below. For all my patrons, they get a permanent spot on my in-game friends list, so if you want to interact with me in some way, like with remote raids, then do consider becoming a patron on my Patreon. But yeah, that's going to be it. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.